Hey everyone, welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. Pretty excited today because we have Linda Watson joining us, and I absolutely adore and love her. So she's local to our community, which is fantastic. But let's start with some business stuff. Thank you, the Plant Based Network, for being our partner. And I always want to say partner in crime, but partner in Virtual Vegfest and helping us to have created this idea, which is pretty cool. This month, our presenting sponsor of our lives is Cows Come Home. And why did I pick them? Because we're raising money for them all month. You can pass the buck campaign, donate $1 or more, and you'll be entered to win a prize pack from Hodo Foods. For every dollar you enter is an entry into the contest. And Cows Come Home. Randy will actually be on with us on Saturday of this week at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Again, super excited. Plus, I get to see Cows Come Home next week. Yay! So, other contests like Virtual Vegfest on Facebook and Instagram. You'll be entered to win a prize back from Sun Warrior and Crofters Organic and Follow Your Heart. We have a video on our Virtual Vegfest YouTube showing you Erin and her prize pack from Follow Your Heart. Pretty awesome. Very easy. Pick a winner. It gets shipped to you. So, pretty easy contest, and all you have to do is like our page. And then I contact you at the end of the month, or the beginning of the next one, actually. So, let's talk. Linda is a member of our community here in the Triangle. I was trying to think today as to when I met her, and I think Kathy Hester might have put us together, or vice versa. I'm actually not sure, but it definitely is VegFest related because she's done cooking demos at VegFest. She's been a judge at our vegan mac and cheese contest, and she's just like super awesome to have. We have so many people in the Triangle community in North Carolina that we're incredibly fortunate, and Linda's just another one that does so much good, right? Promotes voting, as environmental, cookbook, food, health, I mean, you name it. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, please put them into the little box, and which is kind of missing on my screen at the moment, but put them into the little box and we will respond to them. But I'm going to bring Linda on so that we can start our conversation. Hello.
Hello, hello, Helene. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be part of this community and be here with you today.
Yeah, me too. So, Linda, I want you to tell everyone more about who you are and what you do. And I'm going to not kill my cat, but I might.
No,
So,
don't kill your cat. Don't kill your cat.
yeah.
Show
Okay.
us the cat because I'm the only cats I'm getting now are through the internet. So I'm always so happy for the cats of Zoom are keeping me
Um,
going.
she's trying to figure out what she's there. She's there.
Adorable. Thank
There's,
you.
you're welcome. She's going to come into my lap. Okay, let's go.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I started the Cook for Good project about 12 years ago when I read about the Food Stamp Challenge, which was a wonderful event started by people that were interested in raising the food stamp allowance, which had been really low for a long time and hadn't been raised in 9 years at that time, despite inflation. So people were really hungry. And the organizer said, let's cook for a week in somebody else's kitchen, basically. So you cook at $1 a meal for a week and see what it feels like, and then see if you think that they should raise the food stamp allowance. And of course, everybody did. It was, oh my God, all these people, legislators and senators and all these people took it. And it was hard. A lot of churches did it. But as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, these people have no idea how to cook. I worked my way through college. I could squeeze some food out of this, like out of $1 a meal. So I talked my husband into trying it. And that's sort of a longer story, but we tried it. After the first week, he loved the food. We felt great. We were doing all sorts of good things. Turned into a website and a book, and now it's what I do.
That's really cool. How long ago was that?
12 years.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And we met at a Veg Fest. Yes, Kathy Hester introduced me to you, and
Yep.
I got done doing a big demonstration. I remember that, and I was recovering from something, so I was like, I was exhausted. It was the end of the day. It was great, but it had gone really good, and I was like excited. And then this woman I never heard of before, never like stranger, came up and knelt at my feet and started talking at me, and I thought, I feel like she's my best friend. And it was you. So we just hit it off right away. It was so nice. Yeah.
That was I feel like that was in 2015.
Could be. Yeah.
Right? And at the second Veg Fest, there's a lot of times where people come to Veg Fest and I haven't met them. Right? They're coming to
Right.
speak, or I mean, a lot of people come. But at that point, I mean, you lived here, but you live here. But you know, I'm kind of like, oh, I need to make my way over, and then I start talking to people at the events, and they have no clue who I am. Like none. Like I have nothing on me that says organizer, anything. And I'm just like, oh, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, who are you? And then like all of a sudden they go, oh, you're the woman
Right.
I've been emailing with.
Because it's all email, so we don't hear your beautiful voice, don't see your face, but it's you're wonderful in person too.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so I mean, the book. I mean, I'd love to hear more about the Cook for Good. What did you make for $1 a day? $1 meal,
Well,
right? So
a
what did
dollar
you
a meal, right?
make?
$1 a meal. So 21, and we did three. We started out with 3 weeks, and we started at like a cheap food store, like frankly the Food Line. So started at the Food Line, and then took it for a week at Whole Foods, same menu to see what it was going to be like. And then the third week we did the farmers market because I thought that's where the bargains would be.
Mm-hmm.
And lo, I was right. That's where the bargains are. So it's it's basically what we still eat. So wonderful whole wheat noodles, tomato sauce with a bunch of vegetables in them, some greens or broccoli is a little expensive, green beans, that sort of thing. So that's lunch. For breakfast, peanut butter on toast, oatmeal with stuff, basically alternating between those two. And then for dinner, beans, grains, greens, have fruit throughout the day. And then we always had dessert. And at that point, we're having a snack. Lately, I found out that maybe it's better to fast in between, so we're not doing the snacks anymore. We just have dessert. But my husband said, so smart. He's like, if you want me to keep doing this, if this isn't just some 21-day challenge, then we have to have dessert. And I was so excited when I found out that the actual food stamp allowance in our state was higher than that. It's if you make some money, they lower it. So the average was $1 a meal, but the actual amount was like $1.53. And Helene, I've never felt more rich than after 2 weeks on $1 a meal. I went to the farmer's market and I had $1.53 to spend. It was awesome. I bought peaches and blueberries and bell peppers and everything. It was fantastic.
Yeah, because you think about it, you go $1.53 per meal. I mean, you're talking like one, two, three, four, 50 a day, right? For all three meals. But if you
Yeah,
put that over the course of 7 days, now you're looking at like $30 a week, which is not a lot of money. But when you buy in bulk and then you just go, this is
right.
what we're eating this week, somewhere in there, you know, the oatmeal with the blueberry, oatmeal with the strawberry, you know, vegetable with green beans, vegetable with spinach, you know, like pasta with this, or, you know, that's, I mean, you just kind of mix it up because you don't really, one of the things that's important is people think eating vegan or plant-based is expensive, but you proved it 12 years ago that
Yeah.
it's easy to do.
It's easy and and by the way, it's like, so $1 a meal, that's 3 meals a day. So I like squeeze a snack out of that, but that was $21 a week per person.
Right,
So
right.
like really like not much money at all. But you're so right that the variety is naturally there. And one of the things I love to do is use all the ethnic dishes. I mean, mamas around the world have cooked on almost no money forever. So cook African food, cook French food, cook Chinese food, cook all sorts of different things. And yeah, it's beans, grains, and greens, but with different sauces and different spices and all that, you get a world of flavor all the time. I never get bored.
No, that's awesome. And just a fair warning,
Yeah.
the Amazon Prime van just pulled up in front of my house, which could mean lots of barking any moment. So
Okay.
just, I'll just put myself on mute. But all right, so that's like really neat. I'm pretty sure I knew that story somewhere like in the last 6 years. Oh, there they go. So let me like turn over to, you know, I want to talk about your CSA person because I've actually brought that up before on this as to what happened there. So I'm going to put myself on
Yeah.
mute and let you go.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I was so lucky that I had a wonderful CSA person, Beth of Wild Onion Farms, who she used to be at Midtown Farmers Market, and she was my favorite vendor there. Big, wonderful supply, great prices, wonderful person. And she had things didn't work out with Midtown Farmers Market. Um, so she was asking her people, do you know where I can have a CSA spot? And I said, well, I have a back porch. I have a screen porch on the side, easy access from a driveway, no steps or anything like that. I would be thrilled to host a CSA. And I emailed around my neighbors, and she has a list, of course. So we got 15 people to come pick up on my porch. Talk about awesome and convenient. So every Saturday, I'd have a chance to say hello to Beth for a few minutes. She'd bring all this wonderful food. It was so fantastic, so great for the neighborhood. If you're interested in low waste cooking, so you don't, like, she would reuse the plastic bags and the boxes and all that. So there was virtually no packaging, utterly fresh, utterly fantastic. And she emailed this spring, in March, I think in March or April, she emailed us saying that she wasn't feeling well, and then we never heard from her again.
Right.
And she died.
Yeah.
So she was going to get a COVID test. We don't know whether she ever did get the COVID test or not. But I mean, it's just heartbreaking that she was young. Well, I say young. She's younger than me. She was in her 50s. So, but vibrant, running a one-woman farm, feeding 100 or so families. The outpouring of love when she died was just tremendous. And Susan Sink, who is another big foodie in the Triangle area, helped coordinate working the farm, getting the stuff that was in the field. It was spring. She'd planted for spring. So anyway, it's tragic. And so my message to everybody is, please, it can take out your 50-year-old fabulous female farmer who has been basically, we talked about an event. She said, I live at home. I'm an introvert. I don't go see people. It's going to be safe with me. I'm going to be safe. And something happened that it wasn't. So wear your mask, use your distancing, take this stuff seriously so that we can all live good lives again.
I know. It's what's interesting to me. I mean, I feel terrible that happened, but it came through my radar a couple of times. One of my friends came over and told me that she started this new CSA, and as quickly as she started, something happened to her. And then another friend contacted me to home her rooster.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I didn't follow up, but I think I found a home for her rooster.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I put them together, but no one ever came back to me to say, like, it worked out, but it seemed like it was going that direction. So it kind of came through, like, and I mean, and I think I've spoken about it on here. I mean, probably COVID, very sad. I mean, obviously someone who was fit, in shape, not that old, got sick and died very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
And her cats, I know I've contacted a couple people that I know that do pet cat rescues. And they were barn cats, so it was like a different situation. They weren't indoor cats, but yeah, it's like your whole life, and to think about how much we all connect with each other. So also, everybody, please, love the people you have today, and you just never know. So it was a real wake-up call, I think, for all of us to have that happen so close to home.
Right, and I mean, for you've got some high risks for COVID, because I don't know, it's up to you to share, but I know you've put on Facebook and I've shared your story. I would love for you to share your story with everyone as to what you've gone through, because what you posted and shared was incredibly encouraging.
Thank you, Helene. Thank you. I bet you're talking about my brush with breast cancer,
Yes.
which was about actually almost exactly 2 years ago today. I was standing in line at the eye doctor, and the receptionist, the person checking me in, says, "Oh, we've got a phone call for you here." It's like, what? What? Why? And it's the mammogram person calling up and saying, as soon as you leave your eye doctor, can you come in and get a second mammogram? We think there's something wrong. It's like, so I was like that was like the least calm eye exam I've ever had. They did find something, and I was able to have just like a lumpectomy and 15 rounds of radiation treatment. But the interesting thing was there are a couple things that were interesting about this. Um, I'm real research oriented, and I really want the solutions to what's wrong with me to be through my diet and through exercise. But some things don't work that way. And I initially talked to the doctors and said, well, if I just eat mushrooms and drink green tea, I won't even need to have surgery. And they said, no, 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 no. That's a way to die a young and painful death. You don't need to do that. So I did have the surgery, did have the radiation treatments, but they didn't talk to me in any sort of useful way about my diet. They gave me a booklet that told me to eat yogurt, you know, and dairy products are loaded with hormones which cause cancers to grow. So you don't want to be eating yogurt. You don't want to eat tuna fish. It's loaded with heavy metals. It's like this is like anti-healthy food. So I did lots of research, and on my website, Cook for Good, you'll find my my story, my detailed story on what I went through and how actually everything turned out fine, but also my cancer prevention program. So Helene, if it's okay, I'll share some tips about that right now.
Oh, definitely.
Good. Okay. Okay. So every day I start with a smoothie that has blueberries, tofu. I thought tofu was bad. Tofu, actually, especially if you're younger, but if you've had cancer, can help you get over it. Eat tofu and soy products, turmeric, cinnamon, and some sort of greens. And by greens, I also include red cabbage because that's officially a cruciferous vegetable. So have that. Start the morning like that. That's a really powerful way to do that. Oh, and flaxseed. Flaxseed is full of lignans, which is a really powerful antioxidant. I've got everything I'm telling you. I've got sourced from scientifically reviewed papers. This isn't just something I made up or my aunt
Right.
told me. This is like scientifically reviewed. Um, Eat lots of beans, grains, avoid sugar, but I still have sugar, but don't load up on the sugar. Alcohol can be really bad. Unfortunately, I haven't drunk for many years now, because I've already had all the scotch I should have in my life. So that part of my life is over. Who knows? Could have been a contributing factor because nobody tells you that. But really, for women, one glass of wine a day is like probably over the safe limit. So nobody tells you that. And what else? Oh, always, every day I have green tea and a mushroom. And isn't that funny? Green tea and a mushroom reduces your risk of breast cancer by 90%. So why the hell isn't it? Oh, can I say that on the internet? Why the hell aren't we feeding kids in school tofu, green tea, and mushrooms to help them um, avoid long-term risk of breast cancer and other cancers? I mean, we could do so much with nutrition that we aren't taking advantage of. And you can do it personally, folks. So some of my favorite sites are nutritionfacts.org. Thank you for having Dr. Greger here. I mean, such a rock star of nutrition. He's great. And you know all the other usual suspects, but we've got great vegan researchers who are going out doing real research on this. The Plant-Based Prevention of Disease conference that I've gone to 4 times here in Raleigh, loaded with real research that shows that by eating plants and exercising, you can greatly reduce your risk. You can't eliminate your risk, but you can reduce your risk of a lot of the diseases of affluence.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm like talking a little bit. Yeah, no, I like writing it down. Like Peapod conference is great too. Putting that in the notes, the comments, so we can add it to the broadcast. Yeah, no, I mean you're right. Nutritionfacts.org, PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, Food for Life. We have with Dillip and all the Food for Life instructors. We have a Food for Life instructor coming on next week on Tuesday, Besa, out of New York. So right, and the Peapod conference is incredible. Typically hosted in Raleigh. They were going to do the conference in Wisconsin?
Michigan, my
Michigan?
home state. Yeah.
Right, in Michigan this year, but they went virtual. Well, everyone knows why. So, yeah, no, fantastic resources, and I'm glad that on your website you share with people your journey with breast cancer, and you say eat a mushroom a day. I hate mushrooms, so well, I'll do all the other stuff, and I
Well,
don't drink.
put it in your smoothie. Put it in your smoothie. Oh, and I
Yeah.
have to tell you something that I think is just hysterical. Is vegan isn't just food. Vegan is like a whole lifestyle. So they told me you got to use this lanolin cream when you're getting radiation. And I said, I'm not using no lanolin. No. So we had this long thing, and I was like researching and couldn't find out. Finally, I got them to agree because you can't use anything that is has fragrance in it because fragrance it burns. You really don't want to do that. I tried it by mistake one time, and it was like a memorable experience. Um, so we finally said, okay, you can use plain petroleum jelly. Okay,
Okay.
and I was taking turmeric every day and walking every day too. But turmeric, and I thought, well, is that going to throw off because the radiation is trying to kill things, so you don't want to revive things so much that you nix the value of the radiation. But when the radiation doctors would come in, they look at me and they go, "Your skin, it's beautiful. It looks like you haven't even had radiation." It was so funny. Like I'm like in my 60s now, so it's like not very many people come up to me lately and said, "Linda, you have such beautiful." Like, wow, come look at these people. It's like look. But I think it was the vegan lifestyle and the petroleum jelly, and they don't tell you this,
Right.
but you can look it up and find it on your own.
But you have to want to, you have to know to, because so many people, when they go to the doctor is the authority figure, and you just do what the doctor says and you don't question. And with that questioning can come information and communication and research that can make it that you do things that are better for you and healthier for you in the long run and in the short term that they just either don't know about, don't share about because they're on autopilot. Oh, another radiation
Yeah.
person. This is what you do. Here's this thing you take. Okay, you got to do this. It's going to save your life. You know, and then then they run into like a whole food plant-based person or a vegan person who says, no.
Yeah.
What's the other alternative here?
Well, and just to say, they were like an awesome team, and they know way more about radiation surgery than I ever want to know. I don't want to know any more than I already know right now. It's just like that one little wedge of expertise and interest that I had. So make it a partnership. I felt really lucky with the people who gave me care, and they were open to talking about it. It's just shameful that so many people aren't in a position to have a good background and have the energy and the resources to look this stuff up. And that's why we need to send doctors they need to give them more nutrition training, or we need to bring the registered dietitians even better into the medical team.
Yes, and have the registered dietitian be somebody who is conscious of what's really healthy for you as opposed to what
Yogurt
you're
and tuna, yeah.
right. I mean, of all the things in the world to say put dairy into your body, which for people would actually cause cancer for your body and other issues. I it doesn't make sense to me, but for a person who's eating an omnivorous diet, a standard American diet, they'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can do that. Can I have pizza? I mean, if cancer, eat healthier. I helped take care of somebody after they had surgery from having cancer, and the first meal when they got home was like cream of chicken dumpling soup, and I was like, this is why we're here. Like, and yogurt and like all these foods that if you get the right dietitian will tell you that's what you should be eating.
Oh, I went to one of my friends had a heart attack and asked me to go with her to the training afterwards, the nutrition training that they were doing, and that, like you've made it through, but here's your
Right.
nutrition training. The training consisted almost completely of here's how you check the salt amount on the labels of your frozen and canned food. I kid you not. It was like, what? And we said, well, and here you gave us the menu, but what does a vegan eat? It's like, vegans? So heart patients have faced a similar battle, and I'm sure diabetics have the same situation too.
Oh, I'm
But let's
sure.
move on. Let's move on. I want to talk about healthier things.
Well, this is a very important conversation because, I mean, there are a lot of vegans, whole food, plant based people out there who think you can't get cancer, you can't get COVID. Yes, you can. Can you survive it? Yes. Can you not survive it? Yes. Right? I mean,
Right.
with COVID, it's almost like a roll of the dice. I mean, I don't think it really matters. Like, it helps to be healthy, but I don't know if it's actually going to help you because it's a genetic thing. I think they're learning as to who gets more impacted in a worse manner than not. And then you have people who are just I'm done. And then you have the
Right.
long haulers that I have friends that are long haulers. It's absolutely horrendous. So, but yeah, you're a true testament to going through something and then wanting to share that with everyone else and to help them with that knowledge because, I mean, that's the point. You went through it, so you have this, and you make it easier for someone who, and right now there could be someone who watches this or is watching that knows someone or they are going through it, and they can go to your website and be like, okay, thank you, Linda, for doing this research for me, because when you're sick, you're emotionally drained because you're going through something that's, I mean, life or death, right? And then to go through radiation, I mean, it's sickening to go through all that for your
Right.
body. I mean,
And yeah, and there's a shame factor too, which is why it took me a long time to talk about it. And that's why I did though, because you're so right. Oh, I'm a vegan, and I sort of got that really, frankly, at the Peapod conference. There's a lot of, well, if you do this, you're like, you multiply all these 80% risk factors, and there's zero risk. It's like, no, you can get cancer because something that happened to your mother before you were even conceived, right? There's literally rays from space that can go through and corrupt your DNA just while we're sitting here talking. And of course, with all the pollutants that we have, there are things we just can't avoid. So it's a roll of the dice. We can reduce our risk, but you can't eliminate your risk. So, you know, do what you can to make it healthy. Get your mammograms, get your tests, all that sort of thing. And then if it happens, roll with it as best you can and try to be part of an active partnership. There's a lot of people out here to support you. And I'm happy. Come to cookforgood.com if you want to drop me a note. I'm happy to hold anybody's hand, or you can cry on my shoulder or whatever, because we need to stick together.
and thank you for that because there's nothing like going through something. And I know you have a fantastic support system. You have a number of friends, and your husband's incredible. So, I mean, you're definitely not alone. And I mean, I've been to your birthday party, so I know it to be in a room full of people that love you. So, I mean, that helps. Just staying as positive as possible also helps. And what a weird turn we've taken. But I mean, that's an important part of you that wasn't even in what you wrote to me. But I knew it was something that I know I wanted to touch on because it's inspiring for other people to really to know that piece of you. Right? Because I mean,
Fantastic.
yeah, I mean, it was important enough to me to share with our community. So thank you. So let's talk about environmentalism because and voting because I mean you're always that person who says, do you mind if I come to your events with a clipboard and I recruit people to vote? And my answer is always like, of course, go for it.
Right.
Please, it's the best environment for you to sign people up to vote.
And I love that. I did that at the one of the last Triangle Veg Fest was right before a big election, and I stood in line, and every single person. There were 200 people in line when I was there. We've already registered to vote. Yes, we have our voting plan. Really, the Veg Fest is not the best place to go register people to vote. At least that's what they tell me. Maybe they're just waiting to get in there and get some waffles. I don't know. But it is so important to vote. When we think about why you're a vegan, and people are vegans for different reasons, and I salute all of them. I don't care if it's one reason for you or all of them, and there's probably reasons I don't even know about. But personally, I'm vegan I started off really for the health,
Mhm.
and or actually, if you go way back, I became vegetarian for the environment, and then so vegan for the health and the environment. And then really once I was vegan, it's like I could really take the shackles off my eye. Sorry, that says make dinner. I think I'll wait. Daily reminder. The, I was able to see the pain and suffering that the animals and the workers in slaughterhouses and all the people involved with doing those terrible things to the animals do. I mean, it's horrible on so many levels. I was able to see that, and now I think I will do it more for the kindness than for anything else. But we're coming up with a big election, and I know everybody's heard a lot about the national races. And Tribal Vegfest, I think, is a nonprofit, so I'm not going to say anything about voting for any particular party, because I'm just saying, do your research and think about some factors. And climate change is real. This is a climate crisis. And as the sea levels rise, as the storms are worse, as the horrible fires are in California, people are suffering, animals are suffering. It's a terrible, deadly situation. And we can reverse it, but we need to have leadership from the top as well as our action from the bottom. So everybody needs to do everything they can, and that includes voting. So find out what your candidate's environmental platform is and make environment a large part of why you vote. And so, for example, I think we've got just a fantastic candidate right now running for North Carolina Agriculture Commissioner, Jenna Wadsworth. And if you look at her platform, she's very much aware of climate change and the climate crisis. She's running against Stephen Troxler, who is the incumbent. He thinks climate crisis is a hoax. So he's naturally not going to do anything about it. And food and agriculture are some of the most impactful ways that we affect climate. So it really matters that the agriculture commissioner believes in climate crisis. And Jenna wants to put a garden in every schoolyard. She's in favor of legalizing marijuana, which would keep some people out of jail that should not be in jail. It's really a terrible way to hurt the Black and brown community, to have these laws that you can just enforce at will like that. And she is a working farmer who was raised on a farm where they raised animals, but out in pastures. And she's aware of animals as beings. She's a vegetarian herself. We have a chance to elect a vegetarian as an agriculture commissioner. Yeah, I wish she were a vegan. And her opponents say that she's an evil vegan and all this. She's not that, but she's somebody who really is going to make it, it's a spectrum. She's going to make it so that animals don't suffer as much. I can't imagine she would be in favor of the ag-gag laws, which prevent us from exposing what's going on. Jenna Wadsworth, if you were thinking about sitting this election out because maybe somebody you cared about in the primary didn't make it through, maybe you think it doesn't make a difference at the national level. It does make a difference at the national level, but it really makes a difference at the state level. Mm-hmm. And even our school boards, if you have a good, environmentally sensible, nutritionally aware school board, they can affect the food that's served at thousands of meals every day. So if you want to get plant-based food into the school, you've got to elect a good school board. So you can vote right now absentee. You'll be able to vote early really soon. As soon as you get a chance to vote, the longer you wait, the more likely it is that your vote will be challenged. So I've already voted, and it also means I don't get annoying phone calls, and my mailbox is not full of alarming mail all the time, except some bills.
I already voted too. I put a double stamp on it and sent it through the mail because I want to support the post office. It was weeks and weeks ago. And a very good point that you bring up in regards to voting is a lot of people sit out elections unless it's a presidential. What people don't realize is that, okay, you know what? 45 gets reelected. Please no. But he gets reelected, right? But we turn the Senate blue. And the House is still blue. And we can hopefully break a veto. Have enough votes to override a veto. We're good. We're good. And that's important.
Who the governor is matters. I mean, you look at how the different states have done with COVID. And North Carolina has done relatively well because we have a governor who believes in science, and it makes a huge difference. Get get those governors in. Um, it's something back to the environment. I do the work with the Pachamama Alliance, so I volunteer there to do workshops on Project Drawdown, which is a fantastic study. You can find it at drawdown.org. They found 100 ways, existing current ways, that we can either put less carbon and other greenhouse gases up into the air, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, or we can pull it back down into the earth and therefore cool the planet and slow and finally reverse global warming. We've got all the tools. It would save us $75 trillion if we put all of their suggestions into action over a period of 30 years. So it actually saves us money, gives us better lifestyle. It's it's things we can do, from concrete to electric cars to, and I love this, Helene, this is why I got started with it, plant-based diet and reducing food waste are in the top 4 solutions. Depending on the scenarios, reducing food waste in one of their scenarios is solution number 1, and plant-based diet is solution number 3. So knowing about Project Drawdown is a way that you can go to businesses and schools who care about climate and say, I'm not going to talk to you about whether you care about whether sheep suffer or cows suffer, how cute bunnies are, any of that stuff. I'm going to talk to you about your pledge to have a green business and to work whatever you've done. Almost all businesses now and all communities have some sort of environmental goals. You can bring in reducing food waste. And by the way, if you're going to eat animals, at least don't waste it, right? So when you reduce food waste, you're reducing suffering. It's really important to think about that. Even if they're eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, don't buy an extra bucket of it to throw away. That's just ridiculous. But you can also get them to do a plant-based diet. And there's other great things. So all this work helps cool the planet, reduces overall suffering. And we're interested in doing it in an environmentally just way too. So it's important for our work as vegans and environmentalists to be intersectional. And Pachamama does that, and I love that about it.
Yeah, no, it's actually really cool that you're part of that because I'm actually trying to make the climate and environment part of the veganism, whole food, plant based world more juicy. like make people go realize how important it is, because I mean food, it's easy to grab people food. We can probably talk recipes and people be like, oh, give that to me, how do I do that, here's food, let me see it. Fantastic. And it definitely helps the animals, the planet, and the environment and your health, right? So but we have to care about the planet and encourage people to do things differently in order to save this planet, because there won't be one. It's like really serious. I mean it's even more serious that we've got people out there that are in positions of control and authority who say it doesn't exist, it's not real. And that's not true. I mean, there's a hurricane named Delta because we've gone through the whole alphabet. We've gone through D. There's actually gammas out there too, but Delta's sitting there spinning and destroying Cancun. So
Yeah,
I don't mean to laugh at Cancun's being destroyed, but that's the irony and the ridiculousness that there's a big issue with climate change, and we see it. I mean our lifetimes. I mean, by 50, you're in your 60s. There's a difference. And
yeah,
then what it was. I mean, California, yes, California always goes on fire every year. It's the winds, Southern California, typically not northern. It has has the fires, and then it's like, okay, fires came through, they went. It gets really dry. It doesn't rain a lot in California. But I mean, my friends lost their house.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean,
And it's
it,
like 4 times as bad this year too. And
oh
so
yeah,
it's earlier, it's later, it's spreading further. We had 2 hurricanes in the Gulf just a few weeks ago,
right,
2 at the same time.
yes,
Crazy. Oh,
yeah. Go
hey,
ahead.
so one of the ways you can do this activism, one of the things that Pachamama wants to do is work at the community level. So yay, everybody that eats every vegan meal, every plant-based meal makes a huge difference. Keep that up. But we can request those meals. So on my website, Cook for Good, I've got, I always have right across the top, like, here's my newest weekly recipe. And then my motto is save money, eat well, and make a difference. So I've got blog posts that go with each one of those. Make a difference right now is the templates. I've got 2 letter templates that you can write to either an organization or to a restaurant that says, I'd love to come to your meeting, but I don't know if I can have anything to eat. Do you have plant-based food? And here's why you should. So you can like take this and change it based on what you think your organization is going to be interested in. But this is a really easy way for you to be an activist just when you're going to, like the JC's convention or, the Moms Who Love Bicycles convention or, wherever you're going to go. Assuming we ever go anywhere in person again, I
Right.
know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But restaurants right now, like I'm supporting local restaurants. I'd support more of them, but there's only a couple where I can reliably get good vegan takeout food. Yay, vegan community kitchen! I love you.
Yes.
um, but if we let them know that we want to eat like this, and then give them the reason why it helps them with their bottom line, and then give them maybe some extra sciencey reasons so that they can make a case to their boss or really like push it over the edge, we can affect hundreds or thousands of meals with just 1 letter.
Oh, definitely. If they take it seriously. I mean, how many people have written to a pizza place and said, I'd really like to buy pizza that, and you can, yes, you can make me vegan pizza without cheese and just veggies and sauce, but it'd be awesome if you carried some vegan cheese. And so many pizza places went, okay. It's so, I mean, now it's available. Cisco, UNFI, they can buy it in bulk and buy it in like 3 pound bags and it lasts. And then they do that, and if you build it, the vegans will come. It's one of those things in the community. If you have good food and you start doing vegan stuff, then it just goes filtering through the community, and then next thing you know, all these vegans are coming, going, "Could I get vegan pizza?"
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
We want to eat out too.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's so many more opportunities to eat out now. I mean, here. I mean,
Yeah.
in the last 9 years, it's
Oh,
blossomed.
just blown up. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Che's, let me give a shout out to Che's Empanadas too. So that's our other, they're at the food hall in downtown Raleigh.
Hmm.
I can't remember which food hall, but it's one of the food halls. CHE Empanadas, and they have uh, a greens and mushroom one and a lentil and sweet potato one, and then
Nice.
potato knishes that are all vegan. So we get some hot and some for the freezer. So when we go pick them up, and then we get like a month's worth of empanadas at a time. But it's great. Like tonight, I'm going to be tired after this. So I'm going to have some empanadas for dinner. Thank you, Che.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Yeah,
supporting local and supporting local small businesses is important, especially now because the food halls do not have the foot traffic that they had a year ago. Or they didn't have 9 months ago, right? ten
right.
months ago. I mean, they just don't. People aren't going to sit inside a venue to eat. I won't do it at all. I mean, there are people who are
Yeah.
going in and eating inside places. To me, it's too high risk because it's an airborne virus that you can catch that goes through the air conditioning or heating systems. So if when you take your mask off, you open yourself up to risk to eat. Not a good enough reason for me to eat inside any type of place. But to get food to go, that is safe. It's not really a touch virus. It's more obviously airborne. So you make your choices. Everyone makes their
Right.
choices.
And Che and the Vegan Community Kitchen out in Apex, they do curbside service.
Yep.
So, well, Che's, I mean, you go on the outdoor patio and they bring it to you, but there's like I don't even want to go in to get it. It's
Right.
like
No,
let's
I
keep it
hear
all
you.
open air. Yeah.
Right, open air and like fiction kitchen locally, and in a lot of
Right.
cities, a lot of the restaurants are doing a curbside pickup. We're going to drive to Nashville starting on Wednesday, and we're going to drive to Knoxville first. We're going to drive through Winston-Salem, and we're going to stop at Mozzarella Fellas and get food to take to Cows Come Home and share with Randy at Cows Come Home because we're literally driving right by. So I'm never over there. And I was like, this is perfect. So, I mean, as we go, and of course, when we're in Nashville and Knoxville, we'll support our favorite restaurants and get food to go. And I have a whole team that I'll be feeding, for the event for Nashville Vegfest next weekend. So we eat fairly well at our events because these cities have incredible restaurants. I mean, super, super excited.
Well, really, I love Triangle Veg Fest. Helene, you've just made such a huge difference in promoting the growing businesses and supporting vegan food in the Triangle area. This is a hot spot for fantastic living right now, and you're a big part of that. So I am sending you a lot of love for that. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, the other thing is your house. I want to talk about what you're doing with your house, with your garden. Then I want to talk about some recipes, and then we'll close it up. So what you're doing with your house is like really cool. So
It's
please
crazy. It's
share.
crazy. I live in West Raleigh in a suburban house, and I've used to be run a gardening business. So, and I used to be like a crazy nut gardener, and it's so one of the fun. It's almost like back when I was on the barbecue trails. Like I think back and I go, what on earth was I doing buying all those exotic plants? Because now I understand that if I don't have native plants, then there's nothing there for the bugs to eat and the butterflies to lay their caterpillars on so that the caterpillars can eat up all the leaves, but then the birds can eat the caterpillars, and even seed eating birds feed bugs to their young, right? So you really need to have bugs as part of the whole cycle here and part of um, that's how you get birds. So I'm converting my backyard into this spectacular wildlife garden. My beloved aunt um, Evelyn died, and she was 96. I loved her so much. I really wish she were still here, but she's not, and she's a big gardener, so she left me some nice money. And I thought, we will create the Evelyn Jackson Memorial Wildflower Garden. It's going to have the water comes off my roof, and it goes either in a covered, beautiful wood covered drain or into a bog. Um, well, it goes into a basin, goes through a stream, goes into a bog garden that's going to have cool carnivorous plants. My plants don't have to be vegan, so it's going to have those beautiful bog plants, and then goes down into a couple of pools that will have water lilies, and then recirculate back up through all of that. And if it's too full from the water off the roof, it overflows down into a rain garden that's going to have all these beautiful plants that don't mind being flooded. I live on a slope, and a lot of my neighbors uphill from me, just off of Ridge Road. So it's a lot. We're a very hilly area of Raleigh. Uh, they they've been, you know, building bigger houses and more driveways and more pools and less area for the water to soak in on. So we've had more and more problems with flooding. And by using this rain garden, it will um, prevent my neighbors downhill from being washed out so much, as well as preserving the water so that my dogwood and my sequoia, I've got a beautiful redwood here, and those other plants can make it through some of the droughts that are coming up, which are just going to get worse with climate change. And I want to let people in Raleigh know the city of Raleigh will provide you $5,000, match it really well. So if you pay like $1,750, they'll give you $5,000 to put in a rain garden. So check out the Rainwater Rewards Program in Raleigh.
What?
They're so nice, and they'll help you with the design. They'll come out and check and make sure everything's works so that you don't build something that slides downhill or makes things worse. The Raleigh Rainwater Rewards Program. And you can get more than $5,000, but there's higher levels of commitment and approval that you need for that. But I'm really happy with that, and I'm hoping I did this as a demonstration garden, so I hope we can get vaccines and y'all can come over and see my wildlife garden in action sometime.
That is so cool. I don't have a green thumb, right? But I would love to do that. And I mean, I put like a hummingbird feeder up, and I didn't know if hummingbirds were actually coming, and then a friend was over outside, and next thing I know, I was like, what was that? I was like, she's like, those are hummingbirds. I was like, hummingbirds! We have hummingbirds! Yes! So excited. I didn't know. I said I don't really have any flowers or anything that attracts them, and they figured it out. And so there's hummingbirds coming and visiting, and my backyard has a lot of birds, and we have groundhogs and possum and raccoon and squirrels and numerous birds, which have like they can eat on our deck because I'll put seed out for them. But I mean, I really wanted. I mean, the hummingbirds are so fast, and I was like, what? Like, like there they are. There, no, there. And then
So beautiful. I love planting for like there's the plants and then there's all the wildlife layer that makes a difference. So everybody plant native plants because that's what native animals want to eat. That's your big
Yeah,
trick.
and then you'll get your butterfly gardens, and you'll help the bees, and all these. I actually found a mud wasp nest on my porch today. I thought it was termites initially, and I kind of freaked out a little this morning, and I was like, "Wow!" So I walked outside, and I said, "You know what? This is a mud wasp nest, and mud wasps don't have any interest in stinging or anything, and they're actually really good for the environment. So it stays."
Yeah.
It just,
I'm keeping
they're,
all my spiders. It's like, yay,
yes.
spiders, go for it. Yeah.
Yes, we have a crustacean orb spider that's right outside the door. He's adorable. He's tiny, like tiny, tiny. He's black and white. I posted a picture on my Facebook page as best as I could get because he's so small. The web kind of moves in the wind, but adorable, like so cute. I you almost want to just pet him. Really, just
Go pet
sweet.
the spiders.
Yeah, I mean obviously they're great for the environment. They're harmless, and I, yeah, this is another household where we, like I said, the groundhog is chewing up the stairs on the deck, and I was like, well, this is a good house for you to do that. So what am I gonna do? I was
Yeah.
like, you just do you, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so happy you're safe here. That's how I feel. I'm like, this is a safe place. And then Brian
Right.
lives next door. Another vegan lives next door. So
Oh,
like, really, this is a safe, like, really big place that you can, do whatever you need to do. Live in nature.
so nice. So nice.
Yeah, it's really really cool. So then let's close out with recipes. Are there any special recipes that you're
Oh,
working on
well,
now?
I want to
Oh, go
just
ahead.
highlight that if you go to cookforgood.com, right at the top, I've got four filmed um, filmed calls. Anyway, they're videos about how to cook while you're broke, how
Okay.
to do zero waste cooking, why cook plant-based, all the reasons for it, and then menus and shopping. So that was my gift to everybody as we're in this time with people being broke. A lot of people are cooking at home for the first time. So you'll find a lot of my favorite recipes there right now. And then I have a newsletter at cookforgood.com, which has a free recipe every week. This week's is chocolate pudding. Simple, super simple comfort food. I'm into comfort food and easy right now. And I'm using oat milk. I hadn't been really using oat milk before, but man, it is the bomb. And I've got the kids version, which is just my regular recipe. And then you can stir in some chocolate bar to it, and it makes it the ooh la la adult version. So
The adult
I have
version
some
has
chocolate
chocolate
pudding.
bar.
Yeah.
I thought you were going
Oh,
to
and
go a different direction.
yeah, stretch it. You can stretch it by slicing up bananas. So if you're on a diet or you don't want to eat a lot of sugar, or you like want a healthier dessert, slice up bananas, and then suddenly your chocolate pudding is a chocolate sauce, and you can make it serve instead of 4 people, it serves 6 or 8 people that way.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to look into that. These talks always help influence what I make for dinner or dessert.
Yeah,
At least what I make for dinner. Because I never know. All right, that's fantastic for people to know. They can go to cookforgood.com, and there's so many resources there. And plus, I'm going to go take a look at that and see if it would translate to talk about the plant-based network and having you on there too. It just comes down to the quality of the video and the substance of whether that's something that they want on the network or not. So it's not to insult anyone if they say no. Sometimes it's not your quality, it's the of what you're doing. It's the quality of the video that doesn't translate to be put onto television. So
Right. Oh,
right.
I should, yeah, we're setting up a whole video studio in the basement. So what you see there is not great video quality, but there's going to be awesome video quality in my near future. So everybody stay tuned for that. Yeah.
That's exactly it. So then that's what they would need in order to jump over to that side, because I mean, you're charming. You're like that person, everyone wants you're just like sit and listen to. you
Thank you
know.
so much, sweetie. That's really nice.
You're welcome. I mean, you're engaging. So, and you're like a mom. You're like the mom who's saying, "Okay, here you go. Here's what you can do to like make your health better and to eat and not spend a lot of money and feel good." And I come from a place where I've been through it, so
And if you fall off the wagon, I don't care. I still love you. Come back.
right.
Just try it again. Tomorrow's another day.
Exactly. So that might be a
Yeah.
nice little marketing avenue for you outside of just the Cook for Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
Very good.
You're welcome. So is there I mean, you shared the chocolate, you didn't share the chocolate pudding,
Oh,
but
right.
any
So some other
recipes?
recipes. Yeah. One of my other favorites, if we're just thinking comfort food, I've got a black lentil burger, which is actually based on my mother's gushy burger. But I figured that nobody would ever look for gushy burger. But you take those little tiny black lentils, cook them with mushrooms, onions, and some Worcestershire sauce, and you get this really delicious savory thing you can put over buns, like hamburger buns, stick them in tacos or burritos. It's just good to have some of that in the refrigerator all the time. And I'm thinking about Thanksgiving already. Thank you, Triangle Vegetarian Society, for doing takeout. I
Yes.
just found out about that today. So, but I've got an awesome phyllo wrapped greens roll that is just a spectacular showcase meal. It's like, vegans were like tough on the centerpieces. It's like, oh, look, another pot of beans with rice. You want something you could slice and serve like that. This collards roll, it looks beautiful. You can make it look like a wreath if you want to. Super delicious. Not too hard to make, but you look like a complete genius. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, I've got it using the other half of the Phyllo box. You can make the the apple strudel that was in that Beasts movie. So it's really like based on that. Looks beautiful. I made it for one of Kathy Hester's parties,
Yes.
and it's like completely delicious, and it's got a movie tie-in. So you can do fancy, you can do really easy. Cook ahead, freeze some of it. Eat with the seasons, and
Right.
beans, greens, grains. Have a dessert every day, because why panic, right?
Right.
Everything's going to be okay. We're going to be fine.
Yeah, agreed. Apple season, Honeycrisp apples are like
Yeah,
there's tons of them in the fridge. They're so good.
so good.
So
So
good.
good. Yeah. Bell peppers, freeze them up, put them in your freezer right now. It's a good way to save some money, is get this what's available at the end of the season. And I always feed my freezer so that I can eat strawberries and bell peppers in January and February when you're a little tight on money and all the produce is so expensive. And that way you can still keep eating local and at an affordable way.
That's great. That's really great advice that I might take. you
Maybe.
know? Well, no, to put stuff in the freezer, we bought another freezer. We bought a like a stand freezer, like a chest freezer, and because we need more freezer room because two refrigerators wasn't enough. So, because we're fans of buying in bulk and having stuff, and it just wasn't working with just two freezers. So now we've got a chest freezer that's 3/4 full, 2/3 full, and then the freezers aren't as full, but it just makes it so you can find stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is important because there's stuff in there that probably shouldn't be in there. Because it
If you
was in the
don't label
back.
it and list it, yeah. I keep a freezer list so that I put in the date, like what I put in there and how many there are, so that I can go back and eat them before they have, expired.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Or just
You're
turn into a big cube of ice, something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're much better than I am.
I don't know. I've got this organizing streak, and that's part of what you see in my book, Wildly Affordable Organic. It's like, here's how you store stuff. Here's how you keep all these lists, and it's a it's more work to be thrifty. But I'd rather work at that than have to take a second job being a Walmart greeter or something like that.
Right.
Not that those, I mean, like that's like
Right.
all work is dignified and good, but it's nice to have the options. So you can work at home for yourself, and you can really save so much money that you might be able to avoid having to get a second job, or you can save up for emergencies, and we certainly see the need for that. Or you could save up to go to college, or take a nice trip, put in a wildflower garden, whatever rocks your boat.
That's fantastic advice. So if somebody wanted to buy your books, we know cookforgood.com, but I mean, is that the only place they can buy your books? So how do they
Yeah.
get in touch with you?
Oh, thank you. So cookforgood.com, all sorts of contact information there. Quail Ridge Books is a fantastic local bookstore that carries my books, and they'll have autographed copies there, so that's wonderful. And Amazon has them as well, so you can get them that way.
Okay, awesome. Amazon.com brothers. Just put that in the notes so people can see that and put it
Yeah,
up on the screen.
and I've got two books, Wildly Affordable Organic, which is vegetarian, but it's got a list in the back of 50 vegan-friendly recipes. And it turns out that there's actually a lot more than that, because I couldn't figure out how to make my pudding vegan. Oh, oat milk. So, you know, when you look at it as an experienced vegan, you'll see how to transform a lot of these recipes. And then 50 Weeks of Green is vegan, and that's a romance with recipes. So it's every chapter fades to a recipe, and it's a feminist spoof of 50 Shades of Grey. So,
That's awesome. That is fantastic. You need to do like a live video about that. That'd be really cool. Linda, thank you so much for joining us and being you and a part of our community. And it's right. I look forward to being able to see you and like Kathy and like other people in person and actually hug you,
yes.
as opposed to like I don't go near my friends. So I'm like, yeah, okay, hi.
But I'm hugging you right now, Helene, and everybody
Thank
else
you.
out there. I miss you all so much, and it's going to be great to be back in person again and be part of the vegan swarm. But we can feel it. I mean, let's just take a breath right now and see. So many of us are out there, and we're all connected this way. We can connect through the internet. We are not alone, and there's more of us all the time, and we feel the love for each other. It's a really beautiful thing.
Agreed. Thank you. Well, I wish you well and have a great rest of your night. And I will go finish out. Okay. I love you very much. Thank you.
Love you.
All right.
Great. Bye bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
hun. You're welcome. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Once again, another fantastic talk that goes in all different types of directions. And here's how we close out once again. Please wear a mask. We got our nifty Virtual Vegfest masks over your nose, under your chin, around your ears. Not here, not here, not here, not here either, because my understanding is if you're walking through the virus and the virus ends up on your skin and then you drop your what is it, the mask down to your neck, then it's on your mask. And that's no good because then you put it up into your face and then you breathe in the virus, and that would be no bueno. And of course, we talked about it during the live, but please vote. It's never been more important time in our lives than to vote, and make sure you're registered. In certain states, you can do that on the spot. In certain states, you can only do that to a certain time. Some states, you can do that when you're early voting. You can actually, in North Carolina, go early vote and register to vote at the same time. But make sure you check where you are and what your state's rules are or country's rules are, and make sure that you make sure you exercise your right to vote, because people fought for that, for us to have it, and we need to protect this planet and the environment. There's one other thing I want to show you, which I was going to do earlier. But check this out. This is by Sam Weeman Art. I'm like trying to figure out which direction I have to go. This is by Sam Weeman Art, and she's an incredible artist in Florida. And this is going to come to our events so people can see it. And our artwork for the Nashville Vegfest on our shirts is by Sam. So I just wanted to show you that. You can find her stuff on virtualvegfest.com, and she can even make you a custom design for your of your dog or your cat or whichever animal that you choose. And she loves to have that free flowing opportunity to just create something for you. So go check her out, and thanks to Cows Come Home for sponsoring our lives. We're going to do that for the whole month. Please donate to our Pass the Buck campaign. You can find information on that on our social media very easily. And Sun Warrior still have a 25% off code using Virtual Vegfest in all caps. You can also find that on our social media. And we'll see you on Saturday for Randy Gentry from Cows Come Home joining us. And then next Tuesday, we'll go live at 4 p.m. with Besa to do a Food for Life cooking demo. And then we're not here. We're going to be in Nashville for Nashville Vegfest, October 17th and 18th. Get your tickets for that and join us. It's the only in-person event that is of any size that we're doing this year. All our other events have been pushed to 2021. Have a great rest of your night, and we will see you soon. Bye.